What is going on, everybody? It is episode 754 of Pop Culture Crisis. We are getting started very late. Well, we're on time, but we're getting started very late in the moment, guys. My name is Brett, and I'm here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We have a whole party going on in the studio today. I guess we're suddenly popular here. We have Phil joining us, as usual.
It's because you broke 300K.
Yeah, suddenly, now that we're
Everybody wants to hang out now. See how it is.
See, I've been here every Thursday that I possibly could
No,
for the past
yeah,
couple years.
You're a real
so
one.
Phil's one of the real ones.
You're
I
a
am
real
a
one.
real one. Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. We have a new record coming out January 31st. I always mix up July and January.
That's weird.
It is. Well, I do it with Tuesday and Thursday as well. January 31st. It's called Anti-Fragile. Go to Spotify and pre-save it right now. And if you go to my X page, you can do the pre-order of the vinyl, which is all different colors and stuff. It's super cool. How you doing, Libby?
I'm doing good, Phil. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you here.
It's great to see you. It's great to see
It's
all
been
of
a
you
minute
guys.
since we had Libby on the show.
I know. Happy New Year, everybody. I know it's a little belated, and probably we're not saying that anymore, but I'm taking my
Yeah, sure.
last.
Happy New Year.
Yeah,
Of course.
okay.
You're allowed to. Like, if you're one of those people who only sees your friends every 6 months, and like July, it's like, by the way, Happy New Year.
Well,
guys.
I
How
know
you
that
doing?
you two have been on the show at the same time before, but I was not there for it.
That's right.
So I had to make it happen.
Well, I
And
love
I'm
it.
happy
I love
about
it.
that.
Well,
Did
I'm happy that
everybody
this
have
year.
a good holiday at least?
I did.
Yes?
It was, you know what? Nothing weird happened,
That's always good.
and
Yeah.
that was great.
That's always good.
It was,
In the 2 weeks that we were gone, I went to New Hampshire and Florida. So and West Virginia. So I had a traveling holiday.
Lots of traveling.
Lots of
moving
traveling.
around. All right. Well, that's good. Well, everybody is back, guys. It's well, we started a day late because of the snowstorm on Monday and everything that was going on, but we are back and getting back into the
Kinda threw us
swing of
off
things here. But
kilter.
before we get started, guys,
Soft.
hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Please and thank you. Remember to share the videos with your friends, your family, your loved ones, people you like, people you don't like, mortal enemies. Perhaps if you have one, I mean, that's pretty cool. You should share the videos and the live streams with them as well, because the best way to help channels like this grow is to share the content out so that other people can see it. It is the best. So thank you guys so much for that. So what are we getting into today? Well, it's weird how in current year, who you follow on social media becomes indicative of larger things going on in your life. And what happened was Justin Bieber unfollowed Scooter Braun from social media, and then Scooter Braun got rid of his Instagram, right?
Yes.
And that's usually pretty indicative of precipitating something important happening. So we're
If
going
you
to get
weren't
into
aware,
it.
Scooter Braun is the
Manager,
manager who discovered Justin Bieber as a child star.
Yeah.
And they have been friends for years and years and years. He's probably known Justin better than anyone on the planet.
Now people can yell at me again because remember when we covered the thing about the symbolism in yummy, and I'm like, yeah, I just don't know if it's there, and people were like yelling at me.
It was
because-
some sketchy shit.
I was like,
People yell at people. You get yelled at for a
Love
lot
it.
of things on the internet.
so we're gonna go into it because it wasn't just Scooter Braun that he unfollowed; it's his entire management team, and that's pretty big. So we're gonna talk about that. We are also gonna talk about the epidemic of Mom-fluencers who are whoring out their children so that they can become famous on social media.
It's pretty strong wording.
Would you not? Would you disagree? Is it not?
You know,
that?
let's just say they're exploiting
Yeah.
their kids rather than
Well, I turned a phrase.
yeah.
what
the-
I agree
that
with you. I
specific
think it's
turn of phrase.
whoring your kid out.
I mean, yes, it is, but
Isn't that what moms are for, though?
No, it's not.
what?
Look at the
What do you
Which is funny 'cause
mean?
we were at Walmart yesterday and we saw who's the that first child YouTuber that got really big and he's got product lines and everything. I don't remember his name, but like we were in
Is it
like
the one that does
the
the toy
drag one?
videos?
no. It's just kids
He
content.
he does the
Yeah.
toy videos.
Yeah. What do you remember his name?
Ryan maybe. I
Something
don't-
like that. So there was discount products all over like the Walmart discount section yesterday with I was
With
just
his
like, man,
face on it.
yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're gonna get into Momfluencers. We're also gonna talk about Gen Z women are now just gonna have you submit an application if you want to be their boyfriend.
An application?
Boyfriend applications.
Like
no brokies.
Listen.
No short kicks.
I love
I
the.
thought there was an app for that already.
I love the idea because all that's going to do is show the guys, the women, not to date.
Right. Don't go out with
If
these
I have
ladies.
to fill out an application, all I need to know is I don't want to date
It's actually more productive in a certain sense. Yeah.
I agree.
It is.
So we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. If you guys are ready, we can just get right into it. Going around the room. Libby, are you ready?
I am all set.
I am ready.
you. Hold up. Okay, let's
We're
go.
good. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and talk about Amy Schumer in 2025. You never would have guessed it.
Yeah, Amy Schumer is back. I didn't really know that she left in the first place. I wasn't paying super close attention to her career or lack thereof. But Amy Schumer is starring in a new Netflix movie called Kinda Pregnant. And just a disclaimer, that is the title of the movie and that is the plot of the movie, not a comment about how Amy Schumer looks.
Aww.
So the whole point of the movie is that she gets jealous of her pregnant friend for all the attention she's receiving. So she decides to wear a fake baby belly to get some more attention for herself.
I kind of like it because it's very indicative of like the craziest person you know. And these stories are real. At the very least, there was that story like last year of like the woman who faked cancer for years to get all sorts of sympathy.
Yeah, that's actually crazier than pretending to be pregnant. The
And-
pregnant one has a deadline.
There was the lady who worked for like Shonda Rhimes who faked having terminal illnesses so that she could get work on like Grey's Anatomy.
Isn't there like a killer? She's like out of prison now. She killed her mom because her mom made her fake.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
That's
Gypsy
the
Rose
one.
Blanchard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
she had
man.
Munchausen's by proxy.
Yeah.
Should we show the trailer?
Let's show the trailer.
You can
Get our
guys can
first impressions.
decide for yourselves whether this is for you guys. Here we go.
Looking good, mama.
Hey, have you ever felt like you were so close to having it all?
No.
But there was one little secret.
You look so beautiful. Yeah, it's probably because I'm pregnant.
You lost control of.
How dare you walk around with that fake fucking belly?
What am I gonna do? Do you ever tell like such a big lie you don't know how to get out of it?
How's your pregnancy going?
Oh my god, so cute!
Yeah.
Hi!
Cute little face almost tore my asshole open.
I've always known I want a family. Have you ever dated a pregnant woman?
You're the least pregnant person I've ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
You wait till they're crowning.
Yeah, I want them to be like 2 weeks away from dropping.
Women don't share what it's like. It's so isolating.
How do you really feel during your pregnancy? I'm angry. I ate a cupcake out of the trash can last night.
I can't stop masturbating to weird stuff, like the Golden Bachelor.
Get the hell out of here.
You know, we should have more like secrets.
What if someone you know catches you with it?
Do you smell that? It's like burnt plastic.
Why am I listening to you? You have 3 active restraining orders against you. Which says to me there are 3 people out there who sees my passion. I show up at their work. I show up at their house. I show up at their mother's house. I'm fucking everywhere.
The most important relationship you're ever gonna have is with yourself.
For being a stupid tit-faced jerk butt. Oh, it is you, my friend, that has the face of a tit. Can you two bitches calm down? You can't even come up with proper fucking swear words at this point.
How far along are you, judging by your facial bloating? 5 months?
I'll break your fucking neck.
What was that?
I've been a freaking rat.
I would be too if my ankles were that big.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. As you know, I'm not one for hyperbole, but there wasn't even anything approaching a laugh in there. From
I
me.
saw some laughs over here.
I thought it was sort of. I think some of it was sort of amusing, but there were a lot of things that were not really accurate about pregnancy.
Yeah.
Like no one gives you a seat on the subway.
People are actually kind of rude to pregnant ladies these days.
The only
She can't
people
fight
that
back.
ever, right? The only people that ever gave me seats on the subway were like older women, and I was like, "Grandma, just sit down." It's
Well,
okay."
nowadays, if they don't set you on fire, that's the polite thing.
right?
Yes.
That is
Yes. As long as they don't
pretty
push you down onto the tracks.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
find something funny about the concept of somebody being
that's
so
double murder.
desperate for attention that they go and do something stupid like this. But
I think it's so. I mean, the other problem is that there was a story about, this was years ago, about someone who was pretending to be pregnant, and then she murdered a woman and stole her baby out of her belly.
okay. We're gonna find out later that that's what this
Whoa.
script started as,
And
Amy Schumer's like, let's
that's
punch it up
the
and make it a
only
comedy.
acceptable option for like the climax of this film is that she takes it all the way. Otherwise, otherwise I don't see it.
Turn it into a drama and make. The
I
thing
do
where
see
she-
A little drama, a little
Yeah.
horror.
I see her getting pregnant in the third act of this movie.
Probably.
Part of me
For
backs
real.
this.
Well, but if she gets pregnant in the third act, then like she has to fess up to the lie too.
I
and
don't
be
like any
"Now
movie
I'm
that
really
Amy
pregnant."
Schumer actually gets laid in. So
No, that's not great. I thought
Unrealistic.
the sidekick with the restraining orders. I thought she was kind of funny.
The belly is fake. The struggle is real. As they say.
are they trying to convince me? I saw a shot in there of her supposedly doing the splits, and that might have been the most unrealistic part of
That's
that
very
whole
unrealistic.
trailer.
Yeah, because she can't do that pregnant or not.
I don't think she
Also,
can do
what's
that.
the deal with a room full of pregnant women talking about eating out of the trash? Who does that? And I was pregnant in Brooklyn for the entire pregnancy that I had.
And their
That never happened.
pornography habits.
Yeah, that's weird
don't
too. I
know.
don't get any
It's
of
kind of
that.
strange.
But yeah, like eating cupcakes out of the trash. That was like a Seinfeld episode. And I guess it was
it's only on top. It was right on top.
What's sad
in
is
the
like
trash. It didn't even break the rim.
movies like this. I mean, not this one specifically, but actually funny movies. Think of like, or maybe if you like Knocked Up or stuff like that. Like movies like that used to go to theaters and do very, very well. All of that is now doomed for a life on Netflix where, as we talked about yesterday, it's put on in the background and nobody actually pays attention to it. And comedies are actually one of the genres more perhaps than others that you have to actually pay attention to, because unless it's some type of just gross humor and that's your thing, you have to be paying attention to the story for humor to actually catch.
Well, there was already a movie just like this starring Lindsay Lohan back in
I didn't know that,
2009
yeah.
called Labor Pains,
Okay.
where she pretends to be pregnant for special treatment at work.
Kinda Pregnant is a better name than Labor Pains.
You get special treatment at work being pregnant?
At least
Again,
that was the
that was
premise
totally
back then.
unrealistic.
I tried that
Totally
here and I got
unrealistic.
nothing.
But after, we have a 20 from Thomas Williams. Love this show. Usually listen to it the day after they're as based in the UK. Like Mary's view more as I like the Christian more as I am slowly finding my faith by going through the Bible. James edition. Love you all.
Well,
Thank you for
that was a
watching.
name that I didn't recognize. So thank you so much for catching us live today.
Yeah, thanks for the super chat too. Thanks for saying hi.
We appreciate it.
We dig you.
After this trailer came out, the almost unanimous response was that we need to leave Amy Schumer in the 2010s
That
and
song
never
is-
see her again.
Great idea.
I hated that
She's
song.
not funny.
I hated that song in the trailer.
It's a good song. Don't diss MIA right now.
I can diss that song in this trailer.
It's a good
Was
song.
MIA?
It was MIA. But
I know
it's-
you
but-
hate Paper Planes too.
I like Paper
But
Planes.
almost everyone was saying, Amy Schumer isn't funny. I can't believe that this woman is still getting work. One tweet said, "Can we please leave Amy Schumer? I don't want to see her punchable face."
15 years
Punchable
ago,
face.
15 years
That's a
ago, it would have been
throwback,
Katherine Heigl doing this movie.
Who's Katherine Heigl?
She's an actress.
I don't remember her at
She was
all.
a big deal back in the day. She's did a lot of romantic comedies and stuff like this. But she would have been the one doing this. But now they have to have the fat lady do it. Yeah,
That's
Sorry.
diversity, right?
Yeah.
Diversity. That's how white ladies get work, is if they're fat or super slutty, right? Like, isn't that the other?
Well, that's two of Amy
guess she's
Schumer's
doing
favorite
both of
things.
these.
What were
So
some of
it's
the
really
what were some of the responses?
The fact
to
that
it?
Amy Schumer can be successfully super slutty is a terrible development.
She
That is
still
kinda
keeps
weird,
coming
isn't it?
back,
'Cause it's
even though
kinda just
everyone knows
gross.
she's not funny. Kind of need the world to stop platforming Amy Schumer because she isn't funny. No one is asking for this. We will not be watching this. This looks horrible. Pretty much everyone was saying they're not interested. But then there were other responses saying that they actually are boycotting Kinda Pregnant because Amy Schumer is a Zionist.
Really?
One said, the irony of making a movie on pregnancy while supporting the killing of thousands of kids, mothers, and sufferings of thousands of pregnant women in Palestine.
God, I hate that
How
so much.
can
How can you
make
make a comedy on Netflix when there is a genocide going on in Gaza?
It's like the old Woody Allen quote, which of course, he's probably a Zionist, so we have to cancel him. But he said, one person is starving in the world and it ruins my entire night.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because people need to feel like they have an excuse. You can just hate Amy Schumer because she's unfunny and annoying. You don't have to come up with a weird activist reason to hate her.
And one might even say that it's more, it's better to just hate them because they suck at their job than to hate them for some type of socio-political
has to
reason.
be totally political. You know, it's okay to exist without constantly referencing
and like, look, man, at the end of the day,
war somewhere.
There's like 30% of the people that meet you that are just going to be like, I don't like them. Just for no reason, just I don't like them. And 30% of the people, you're going to be able to be kind of do whatever and they'll be like, I kind of like him. You know, like that's generally the way that it goes. And then 30% are kind of, you know, if you do something bad, they don't like you. If you do something good, they do like you. But like, it's okay if this person happens to be one of the people that you just are like, I don't like him.
Yeah,
You know,
it's fine. It's
like,
perfectly fine.
The funny thing is the better reason to hate her would be as if that you paid money to go see this in theaters, and then you're like, I actually spent money on this. That's why I hate you. I was telling people yesterday, like I was watching these videos about why positive reviews mean more than negative reviews, because if you tell somebody that a movie sucks and they go see it and they like it, they're like, oh, we just disagree. But if you tell somebody a movie's awesome and they hate it, they're like, you got me to spend money on this. I hate you. But it's like if Amy Schumer tries to coax you into going to see her garbage movie in theaters, that's one thing. But you've already got Netflix on your TV and you're just kind of stuck. The only people you can really be mad at is yourself because you haven't canceled yet.
It's the type of thing that you put on in the background while you're doing laundry, and they call it Tide Pod Cinema.
I love that.
Really,
man.
that's a thing. Tide Pod Cinema.
Yeah.
Like Netflix is now doing this thing where they're trying to convince screenwriters to like write dialogue that explains verbally what's going on in the scene because nobody's looking at the actual screen.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a terrible way to write.
And
That's like
they're-
a terrible reason to write anything because nobody's looking. Although the whole point, of course, is to communicate with your audience. So I guess you have to do what you have to do.
Yep. So, whatever. Netflix made Carry On just this past winter, which was fantastic. So, if you like action,
Carry On, like about a bird that eats roadkill?
No, it was about
Carrion.
not a carrion.
Oh, I see.
Carry On was about
Like luggage?
a TSA agent who has to stop a chemical weapon attack. It's awesome.
Hollywood does have some weird takes on pregnancy and motherhood in general, though, when it comes to the way they write
Because
these
they probably
characters.
haven't had children.
Like Chinatown.
Probably. But one I would recommend is The Pod Generation, starring Emilia Clarke. I watched this last year, and the whole premise of the movie is that everyone in the future uses pods to incubate their children instead of traditional pregnancy, and you're incentivized to do so by your employer.
That's like Brave New World.
It was a very interesting take on it. It kind of fell apart in the third act.
Kind
but
of
it was
like how
So many things do.
companies
the hard
now
part.
incentivize you to go kill your children by sending you to a foreign, like to another state to get an abortion because they don't want to give you time off for work.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was satire, technically, but more so a predictor of what's to come.
Yeah. But that's a lot of deep thinking. The movie just looks stupid and it doesn't look funny. And when your movie's supposed to be funny and nobody's laughing, you have a problem. My guess that this one will disappear from the charts very, very quickly.
2025 just keeps on giving. Now, ABC is giving The View a massive promotion in Airtime where they're going to be on air 7 days a week. So now you can spend your weekends off work watching the
Sick.
panel of hosts talk about, I don't know, January 6th, comparing it to the Holocaust. They're preparing to expand their talk show, The View, by adding a weekend edition of the show called The Weekend View. Very creative.
You said the same hosts except for Whoopi Goldberg? She's like, I need my days off.
It's going to be the same panel of hosts as usual, with the exception of Whoopi Goldberg, who didn't feel like doing the extra work for the show. The funny thing is, they said that the plan is to not have this content be as politicized as the show normally is.
Sonny
The
Hoskins gonna be able
original-
to shut her face, definitely.
Right, like how are they going to be capable of doing that?
Didn't the original, like, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not the target demographic, but from what I was told, the original concept of The View when it started was that it wasn't very political and it was mostly like
It became
women's
that way
health
over time.
and,
Well, it was Barbara Walters.
Yeah.
And Barbara Walters was like she was a very big deal anchor, and she was very like waspy and proper. And so her big thing that she was doing had been like interviews of really prominent people. She would interview presidents and she would do all of that kind of stuff. She actually went to my college.
No.
Yeah. So
She had
that's
a
how I
really
know about her.
interesting concept for the show because she wanted a woman from every generation and every walk of life to offer a diversity of perspectives. They no longer have a diversity of perspectives on the show, but they say in this press release, the weekends are when everyone's taking a break, so it's an opportunity to highlight some of the stuff the show covers throughout the week that maybe isn't in the politics arena. On Saturdays and Sundays, it's more of a lighter feel. They're covering stories of the week, but in a different tone, a different format. We'll cover the hot topics, but we'll lean more into pop culture on the weekends. So maybe this is
that during the week.
Gonna be less politicized than it normally is. They also had their biggest season yet in 2024.
Or the biggest season in a long time.
The most watched that their seasons have been, like, literally ever.
Because
part of that
in
is
2024.
everyone hated them. I mean, I watched The View here and there because they were just so abysmal and awful.
I mean, I think a lot of it was because of the election. Like, their numbers spiked very, very high during the election, which is what instigated them giving them this weekend slot. But then the numbers even back out and went back to normal. I mean, they still do good.
Is it going to be the same people on the weekend?
Except for Whoopi. But I mean, the show does good numbers. So whenever people make jokes about nobody watching The View, that's actually not accurate. The show does
definitely
fine.
an audience out there for this type of content.
More than there is for your average CNN anchor.
We have a 20 from Sithkill. Welcome back, everyone. Congratulations, Brett, on the engagement. You all rock. Side note, my birthday is January 6th, so I tell people they're not allowed to slander my birthday when they bring the riot up.
Happy birthday, and that's a smart thing.
Happy birthday, and thank you.
Happy belated birthday.
And thank you very, very much. I appreciate that.
I just don't see them being capable of not spewing political rhetoric.
Of course not.
Also, I just don't see why they're interesting 7 days a week. Like, how do they?
I could
see doing like a weekend view with totally different hosts.
Wasn't Rob Schneider supposed to be launching like a conservative version of The View to like rival them? Like, it would take ages to launch something like that. But that's a fairly good idea. But I just like, they must be paying them a really good amount of money, because if I'm them and they're already making good money, like, why would you want to give up your days off if you're already making millions of dollars every year?
Thomas Williams sent us a 20 again. He said, Mary, do you recommend Christian podcasts?
Or do you have any specifically, perhaps?
Yeah, I pretty much only watch Pints with Aquinas. That's like an explicitly Christian podcast. Big recommend. Pints? Yeah, Pints with Aquinas, like beer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, did you see that photo like right around the New Year where it showed all the late night hosts hanging out together? It was like Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, and I was like, I have never seen a least funny picture ever. It was awful.
Do you think they get along?
I saw the AI version where they all kissed.
Do you think that the panelists on The View even get along off camera?
I can't imagine catty ass behavior behind it.
I can't imagine they do.
It's like, was it Hugh Grant was talking about how like making comedies is actually, just speaking of like the late night, I was like, making comedies is the absolute worst, because like you're doing the jokes but nobody's laughing because they've heard the take 30 times, and it's just a miserable behavior. Everyone has to out funny each other, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, but the point of The View is really for them to outdo each other in how politically correct their takes can be. And I know back when Meghan McCain was on, she was the only purpose of her being there was for them to single her out for having the most conservative takes of anyone else on the panel, which if a McCain is the most right-wing person on your panel, like, you've got some problems.
They put her through hell too on that show.
They
were
did.
Really, they were rude to her. Everybody was horrible to her on that show.
The whole
and
reason
she kept showing
there.
up and speaking her mind and like, getting her hair done and everything, and they still just treated her like trash.
Sonny Hostin's husband was just named in like a RICO case too for like medical fraud.
Yeah.
Was he?
So maybe they need the money.
Yeah. Well, I just saw that Scarlett Johansson was signed on to host, I think, was it Good Morning America
for like a week.
For a whole week? And people were like, I think that she's got to be in serious debt to agree to do this. With her level of star power.
Maybe she's bored.
Yeah, what's going on though?
Maybe she's just bored.
They must be paying her a crazy amount to do that.
Maybe she wants to pivot and do something else, right? Like, I don't know. Or know what it is? She feels guilty for that horrible, cringy Avengers Kamala campaign thing they did. The Avengers Zoom call.
She has to pay her penance for that.
Yeah.
That was bizarre when I saw that.
I can't imagine anybody actually wanting, but I guess I kind of think of The View, and maybe I'm wrong, in the same way that you think of like CNN, which is like you put it on in the airport and nobody watches it, or it's on in the background. See, for a podcast, as I always tell you on here, it's a compliment to say that you put us on in the background while you're doing your dishes, making your lunch, you know, taking care of your kids. I appreciate that, but people who are actually on terrestrial television, that's not really what they're shooting for. They actually want you to sit down and pay attention. And I just never imagined that it was the type of show that people watched very, very closely. So I can't imagine people being like, well, you know, during the week, right? Like if it's a mom, right? Which I imagine most of their audience is like what, stay-at-home moms, because it's on in the middle of the day. Right? Those stay-at-home moms are busy on the weekend. The kids got soccer practice and they got stuff to go do, right?
Or like old people.
Yeah.
I mean, old people are the ones watching network television in general. So
yeah,
I would assume so.
It just seemed weird to me that they would that there would even be an audience for it, because it feels like it gets its audience specifically because it's on at a time when nothing else is on except for like Tom Selleck infomercials and reruns of Three's Company.
That wasn't an exaggeration earlier, by the way. Sunny Hostin actually did go on a tirade about January 6th on air, comparing it to the Holocaust and 9/11. And so we can hashtag never forget about January 6th.
Well, it's like one of the worst events in American history, like the Holocaust. It's like, well, that didn't really happen in America, but go off.
Yeah.
And also only one person died.
Yeah.
And it was a couple of hours. And the Department of Justice prosecuted almost 1,600 people.
We have $100 super chat. Sorry to interrupt. That Stanzatastic said, "What up, effers? Missed y'all. Glad that the gang is all here again. Bert, I am so happy you found your Ernie. When is Morty gonna find their Rick? Don't forget us peons when you hit 1 million subs. Also, hi Phil. Hi Libby.
What's up?
Hello.
Fantastic.
How's it going?
I'm going to have to ask Olivia how she feels about being compared to Ernie.
Probably not.
Frankly,
great.
I would rather be Ernie, because wasn't Ernie the cleverer one?
I don't know.
I'd rather be Ernie. She can be Bert. For pure vanity's sake, I want to be Ernie.
I don't like the Rick and Morty reference either.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the crisis party.
But you know, the DOJ, they arrested 300 people from the riots of 2020. That's it for that whole summer. 20 people.
Wait, how many?
20.
Not 20.
300.
300. That's
From
what I
months
said.
and months and months.
Even
of
For
still.
like rioting of over 100 nights. They tried to burn down a federal building in Portland every night. And 1,600 people trespassing. They accused people of deadly weapons because they had weapons in DC with them.
Thank
like
you.
not there at the event, but in DC in general.
Yeah, nobody brought firearms into the Capitol.
Thank you guys. I do have an SD adapter, so I can put the new Crisis Party sound on here, but I have to sound test it first, and I feel bad having to do that during the middle of the day when everybody else is working.
Well,
I like what we have, and I don't want it to be terrifying and
the new one I made
disruptive.
is terrifying.
I'd rather have a song, but
well, the thing
we're
is,
not going to be dancing anymore, I guess.
Well, I was looking for more remixes of Trump songs, but a lot of them are already copyrighted by the people who made them, so I don't want to get caught for something on,
I see.
So, but anyways, guys, I can't imagine wanting to watch The View 1 day a week, let alone 7 days a week, but I am sure that there is a stay-at-home mom out there who will find some value in this. I just don't think most of them are in this sphere. That's just what I think personally. All right, what would you guys like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
It's Libby's decision today.
Oh, let's go with cute.
Cute first? All right, we will do that then. I'm going to do one today, and we're still getting through the holiday ones here. So this one says, from Melissa Gale, it says, this is Kira modeling her Christmas bandana and just lounging around during the holidays.
Oh, that is very cute.
Very cute. Very polite.
Excellent. Excellent. Guys, remember, you can submit all your cute of the days if you have pets that you want to show off on the show. Tag me and the show in there. It's at popculture_show, right? And then at Brett Dasovic on X, and use the hashtag PCCPets in there if you want to show off your pets on this show. So let's go ahead and say Cringe today. Mary, I'm going to need to ask, is this like, rate it in a scale? Is it bad? Is it not so bad?
Honestly, a 5, but for me, it's different. This is more of a throwback cringe from back when the Ricky Lake show was on.
Ricky Lake is definitely a throwback.
Yeah,
okay, here we go.
This was like really awkward.
Here we go.
What the show is about today. Do you, Mike?
I have no idea.
Someone from a past relationship of yours wants to see you again. Do you have any idea who it might be?
This one girl I was kind of going out with before, she used to always talk about how she loved the Ricky Lake show. So.
Oh, yeah? What was her name?
Her name was Corey.
Let's see who that person is that brought you here. Come on out here. Debbie, why don't you tell him what the topic of the show is today?
Well, we were going out. I was a little stupid high school girl. And then you dumped me, and I wanted to say, I'm a woman of the 90s now. Look at me now.
That's it?
Well, Mike, what do you have to say to that?
She looks great.
Do you have any regrets about dumping her?
We were young, and I was just like, I thought that was the best thing to do.
And you were going together in high school. Let's take a look at a picture of you from high school, Debbie. Wow. We have your boyfriend in the audience. Do you have anything you want to say to Mike?
I just want to say you broke up with her. You're done, so I shouldn't have to hear your voice on my phone message anymore. You know, you're done with her, so.
Whenever I call, it's returning her phone calls.
Mike doesn't know.
Wait, so
big plot twist.
Wait,
at the
so
end
is
there.
the idea supposed to be that she traded up because the dude was, she definitely clearly traded down?
That guy was really hoping it was gonna be Corey. No, I was gonna say you, Debbie.
Like, imagine being the boyfriend. Assuming this isn't all BS.
Why does he look like he's an extra from Interview with a Vampire?
He does, doesn't he?
does.
Well, it's the
hairline.
It was
the
that
weird
time period,
hairline. And it was that time period, wasn't it?
Well,
what does it mean to be a woman of the 90s? Did people say that a lot back then? Or
I had a very similar haircut, but no bangs.
But
is that what it meant to be a woman
it's
of
just
the 90s?
The haircut. I mean, there was a lot of like little Louise Brooks haircuts.
Like,
going
imagine
on.
being the boyfriend who she's like, I'm so over him, so much so that I'm gonna make sure he goes on this talk show so that I can
get that. I never get that.
He got cucked.
You're not showing yourself in a very good light by saying, I never think about you anymore. That's why I flew out to LA to be on a TV show.
Yeah, I
with
mean,
you.
right?
She ambushed him.
The boyfriend, her boyfriend's
Also,
just
why
like,
didn't
something
she
tells
pick
me
like
it's not
a
over.
good outfit?
Yeah.
You know, those vests were just the worst. I remember my
Yeah.
aunt kept buying me vests for holidays, and I was like, this is terrible. I'm never wearing a vest.
One of those vests with the
Suit
like
vest.
slacks.
I'm not a
that she was
chanteuse,
wearing.
you know, like this is terrible. Terrible pleated slacks. Yes. Why?
Mike
Never.
clearly-
No woman should ever wear pleated slacks.
But a
Men
woman of
shouldn't
the
wear them
90s
either.
sure will.
Yes. All right. Well, then let's go ahead and get started then, shall we?
Yes, Justin Bieber recently mass unfollowed his entire former management team. And I think that this is precipitating a huge conversation that needs to be had about the music industry. This is just my prediction. He might be considering legal action against some of these people. We talked about this back in October. The rumor was that Justin Bieber was considering suing members of his former management for swindling huge amounts of his money, the fortune that he made when he was still a teenager, at the height of his career. But here's the list of people that he has unfollowed or possibly blocked on Instagram just days ago. Scooter Braun. He unfollowed Scooter Braun, who discovered him back when he was on YouTube. He was a child star in the making. Scooter Braun introduced him to Usher as well and just launched his career. They have known each other for years. I'm sure Scooter Braun knows him better than almost anyone. And this happened. Then as soon as Justin Bieber unfollowed or blocked Scooter Braun on Instagram, Scooter Braun deactivated his entire account. So
weird.
That's
really
sus.
sus.
Very sus.
Something's coming down the pipeline.
What is this guy trying to hide?
Yeah.
What kind of past is he trying to scrub from the internet so they can't investigate for themselves? I thought that was really weird. In addition, he unfollowed or blocked Allison Kay, who was his former general manager, credited with helping to guide him from being a troubled teen star to an adult pop phenomenon. She also serves as president of Scooter Braun's own media company, SB Projects. He also unfollowed Ryan Good, whom Usher recruited to be Justin's road manager and stylist, aka swag coach.
I can't hear Usher's name without thinking of the way that he said it in the songs. Usher.
Oh.
Exactly.
And then he also unfollowed Kenny Hamilton, who was his longtime personal bodyguard since 2009. That was like way early in his career. A fan allegedly DM'd Kenny Hamilton to ask why Justin had blocked him, and Kenny allegedly responded, "Really have no idea. Kind of came out of nowhere. Wish him the best, though. Always will love and support him. He knows I'm always here whenever he needs or wants to talk." So he's playing dumb. I don't think that he's totally clueless as to why Justin Bieber would unfollow or block him.
Why did he just respond to a random person anyway?
And why would he? Yeah, why would he respond in the first place? I really don't get it. But it seems like a lot of these people have something to hide, especially with Scooter Braun deactivating his account immediately after.
Yeah.
What are you trying to hide from people? And yeah, this was back in October that we talked about Justin Bieber being upset at business managers who squandered a fortune that he made when he was coming up. And I think this might be the culmination of those rumors.
So you think it's financial? You think this is people in the chat, for instance, are saying it's connected to Diddy, but it could be just as easily connected to like business malfeasance.
It could be either one. There is a possibility that Justin is planning on suing former business managers for financial fraud, but I think there also might be a dimension to this that's not being considered, which is that he has a personal dispute with some of them, and maybe the way that they treated him, the bad influences that he was exposed to as a child star, including Diddy. As we know from that infamous clip, Justin Bieber was kind of babysat by Diddy back when he was 14 years old. They spent 48 hours together doing undisclosed activities that would be, as Diddy called it, a 15-year-old boy's dream.
That seems scary if you're 15.
Yeah.
And knowing Diddy and what he was getting up to during that time before he got caught and charged, I can only imagine. Usher was his first protege, and Usher has spoken publicly about being exposed to adult sexual activities when he was living with Diddy as a teenager. Yeah. So I have to imagine that Usher put Justin Bieber in the same position.
Yeah.
That's still all speculation. I wanted to bring up this old interview that Justin Bieber did with Zane Lowe. This was back in 2020. He was asked about the rise to fame of Billie Eilish, who has been a fan of Justin Bieber's for years since she was a child. And meeting her idol, Justin Bieber, was like this huge milestone in her career. And he just said that he feels very protective over her, and his explanation for why was kind of cryptic and disturbing.
Okay.
He was actually brought to tears talking about this.
Here we go.
So quick. Yeah, and she's crazy. She's a superstar.
Superstar, right? So you're there and you see her and you see the way she's reacting to you. And I wonder what was going through your mind, because I've never had a chance to ask you that, because I know what was going through her mind, because I've had a chance to ask her that, and it was pretty clear in the video what's going through her mind. She can't even. What was going through your mind when you saw that kind of reaction, and also now in the knowledge that you were just coming out of that space yourself?
I wanted to protect the moment. You know, I don't know how many opportunities I'm gonna get. You know, we never know how many opportunities we're gonna get with anybody. I mean, I'm tearing up thinking about it, just with the Kobe situation, you know? Just never know. And so I just wanted to be a good example, you know? And, yeah.
Did you feel protective of her?
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, you know, telling me they love me and, you know, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, you know, she can count on me. But at the end of the day, I don't want to, I'm never going to force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, you know, let her do her thing. And if she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and yeah, so yeah, I just want to protect her, you know. I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, you know, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
Okay.
So obviously he got really emotional in that interview, but I got the sense that he wasn't saying all of what was truly on his mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's holding back a lot.
It
Yeah,
does seem
like,
like he's holding back a lot, yeah.
The level of emotion he had seemed to like contradict the tone of the interview itself. Like it got very serious very quickly.
Right. It was just about this encounter that he had with Billie Eilish where she was like fangirling over him and it was supposed to be light, and then it seems like he just gets hit with this avalanche of memories of things that he went through growing up as an entertainer, but he has never really gotten that public or detailed about what those experiences were.
No.
And that's why there's so many theories and so many speculations about it, because he's only been kind of cryptically hinting at it.
He's also so young that this there's every real possibility that these stories come out years later, like years and years later, when he's in his 40s or his 50s.
Right, like when he's actually ready to talk about it.
And it's not just drugs. I mean, he was exposed to drugs at this early age as well. But it's not just that. I mean, he was straight up sexually harassed by adults for
there was whole
years.
montages of people being creepy with him in interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah, asking him about sexual stuff when he was as young as 14 years old.
Kid.
There's that infamous clip of, I believe, Jenny McCarthy
Was that? Yeah, it was.
grabbing him and groping him on stage in front of thousands of people, and he goes to the mic and says, "I feel violated right now," and he wasn't laughing. Like, it's not a big joke. And I'm sure that if that's what goes on in the public eye, there's much worse going on behind the scenes. That's all I can imagine, really. But until he speaks out, we don't know. And I believe that him unfollowing his former team is a sign that either a lawsuit is about to come or Justin Bieber is planning to speak out about getting double-crossed. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat.
Oh, he did the golf swing this time. Okay.
And I think one reason why this all might be coming down the pipeline is because Justin Bieber's lifestyle has changed so much.
He's got the kid now.
Yeah.
And does he still live in Toronto?
No, he's still in California, but you're right. He
Don't they
just
have a place
became
in
a dad, and
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they do back home in Canada.
Yeah, like he's married. He's professing his faith. He just became a dad. He has a son with Hailey Bieber now, and he's been on a semi-hiatus for
It's been like
quite
a couple
while.
of years now, yeah.
Stepping back from the public eye for the most part.
Yeah.
And has had some time to consider things, looking back on things. There have been many paparazzi photos of him actually in public crying with Hailey. And people said, oh, they must be in an argument, whatever. But no, their relationship is still going strong. It must not be marital disputes that are
It seems
the
like
reason.
he's a really sensitive person.
I'm sure,
you
yeah.
know? And the other thing, too, that I think is, like you were talking about how when he was 15 and all of the things that he was exposed to, and this idea that Diddy had that, you know, he was like every 15-year-old's dream. I think that has shifted a lot. I don't think that that's typically, I think, you know, kids in our society, regardless of the lower ages of puberty because of all the, you know, gay frogs or whatever in the water. I think that there's a sort of delay in some of the maturity for kids.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid and when Phil was a kid, you know, at 15 we were doing whatever we wanted and there was absolutely no supervision. And that's just not the way that it is now. And I don't think that that's what kids are looking for. You know, I don't think they're looking for all of this debaucherous stuff. The culture itself is shifted away from a libertine impulse, you know? So I think that, I think it's a mistake to think that that's what kids are all looking for.
I mean, is it weird that like we live in a culture now, like, because that's kind of your point, right? Is that Gen Alpha and Gen Z are definitely seem to be less inclined to vices than previous generations?
Yeah, like aren't they?
But not for pro-social reasons.
No,
that's
if anything, it's because of the rise of social
about it.
media, and they're actually less social, therefore doing less socially debaucherous things.
Yeah, but even if what Diddy said were true, like, oh, this is every 15-year-old boy's dream. I don't know, 15-year-olds dream about stupid things that shouldn't be encouraged. And it's just weird to look back on the way it all went down because his mom was there with him through it all. And she seemed to just so easily trust all of these industry people.
Isn't that weird?
She was there, but she handed him off to Scooter Braun's tutelage, and Scooter Braun introduced him to Usher, and I'm sure Usher, you know, introduced him to Diddy, and then it just keeps going and going, and suddenly
We won't talk about what Diddy introduced him to.
Yeah, like I don't even I don't even want to think about it, but also if it's something that needs to be exposed, I hope that it does get exposed. It's just the powers that be don't want him to do that, and I feel like they've been trying to paint a bad image of him in the media for so long as an intimidation tactic.
Yeah,
so
that's
quick.
just the feeling I have.
Yeah, when she's
It feels like a lot will probably come. I still think it probably comes out later, like when he's a lot older. You know, like maybe perhaps after he raises kids and he kind of goes through all of that, and then he has the time to process everything that he's been through.
It will be ironic, though, if this lawsuit comes out and he speaks out against Scooter Braun because he mocked Taylor Swift for her dispute with Scooter Braun after he acquired her discography, and he was still friends with Scooter back then and defended him.
That could be indicative of it being something other than a business dispute. See, I lean toward when it's Scooter Braun, I lean towards business dispute, something to do with money.
Yeah,
I just do.
He just seems like a cutthroat businessman.
Yes, he does. Like you don't reach that level of success in the management industry without being very, very cutthroat, right? So I could imagine it being that, but that also doesn't absolve him, say, of like, look, you told my parents that you were gonna be able to take care of me when I was a teenager, even in a lot of cases like a preteen or a teen, and you put me in touch with some of the worst people in the world, as we know has already happened what we understand about Diddy.
Well, that's that thing where he said, you know, these people say they love you. That is what people say in entertainment. That is what people say in Hollywood. But what they mean is like, we love the object that you are that we can commodify and sell.
Yeah.
Which is a totally different thing, and it takes more words, so people don't tend to say that out loud.
Yep. All right, let's go to Super Chats.
We have a 20 from Adam. Theater and choir kids were always weird. You had the cool ones, but that was few. Also, Tripolowski, for you, new crisis meter sound? Use Tripolowski.
I'll look into it.
Well, Libby seems like a cool theater kid.
Oh no,
You're
I
cool.
was not. I
In
had
my
no
book.
friends, and I was mercilessly bullied for knowing too many big words. Yeah, there was this one horrifying incident where these girls threatened to beat me up, and I kept telling them that I wasn't going to stay after school because my parents were actually way scarier than these girls, and I was like, I'm definitely taking the bus home. And but the way that I told them, they didn't understand half the words I used, and so then they got upset because I thought they were stupid, which they were.
You were right, though.
Yeah. So the whole thing, it was
Sometimes
terrible.
being smart makes stupid people feel stupider.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that a weird thing?
Being
feel
smart
very bizarre.
offends stupid people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop Culture Junkie said
The word was
300K.
accessory on top of everything else. The word was
Really?
accessory.
Well, do you know what the context was that you used?
Oh,
that? Like
I
I'm not
remember
going to
the
be an
entire
accessory
thing.
to your crime or something.
No, I was insulting her hair.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like the accessory in the hair. It was a banana clip. Those were the worst. Those were absolutely the worst. Sorry, Alana. Those were terrible.
Don't be sorry.
You have a good memory.
Yeah. It
Pop
was a
Culture
true thing.
Junkie said 300K, so well deserved. Congrats to you both. Thank you so much.
Yeah, congrats on that, guys. You guys are terrific.
The channel is taking off. Weary Traveler said, I'm glad PCC and crew have returned. I was missing my 2 hours of background noise.
We are very proud to be your background noise.
Thank you for tuning in. I Can Prep Too said, OMG, Paris Hilton's home burnt down. That's hot.
Oh, poor Paris Hilton.
Did it really?
I think that maybe I hated on Paris Hilton enough 20 years ago. I don't have any hate left for her now.
Yeah.
I can't muster the energy to worry.
I still like her.
I
always
can't.
liked her.
Let's do one more.
Brian Bledsoe said, I may like Carry On, but Carry On, but I hate that they made the hero from the TSA.
Yeah, that's a fair critique. Nobody likes, but they also poke fun at like just how annoying being at an airport on Christmas is. So, be what it be. Like, I don't think of him as a TSA agent. I think of him as a dude who's not applying himself. In the movie, he's kind of just coasting. He was not accepted to the police academy. He kind of took the job as just something to have as a way to make money, and he's not really applying himself. And then he finds out that his fiance, if his fiance or they're married, she's pregnant, and now he's like, oh crap, I gotta apply myself. So he's like trying to get his boss to give him a promotion and all this stuff. I loved it. I loved the character arc for him. All right, let's hold off on the rest and let's come back after.
A video posted by a mom influencer, aka Momfluencer.
I thought this was so disturbing.
Went massively viral the other day, getting tens of millions of views. And it started a conversation about the exploitative nature of being a mom influencer, using your kids for clicks. This is a day in the life video. I don't know exactly whose life this resembles, but she shows clips of not only herself bathing, but also her children.
It's weird.
Nothing explicit here, don't be worried, but there is something that people viewed as suggestive in the video. Let's take a look.
All right, here we go, guys.
Here she is taking them to school? I don't know. In their Range Rover.
She's wearing hot pants for some reason.
Losing at 9:10.
Change of clothes.
Matcha.
Now look at the time now. What
Now
time
the kids are back from what?
What? Like daycare?
I don't know.
What time is it? Isn't it like 11?
Yeah.
And then they're taking a bath.
It is very weird.
She's showing their clothes falling on the floor.
I mean, it's fair that it's not suggestive. It's fair, yeah.
Yes.
I think what people found the most disturbing about the video is those clips where she's throwing the kids' clothing on the floor as they take it off.
It
and
shows
then
somebody
those
who's never
clips
been on
where,
the internet and doesn't know the danger of people on the internet.
Yeah, she also showed these clips of them in the bath but not showing anything, just the back of their heads.
Yeah.
And the caption says, "An enviable life." Obviously this is highly curated for her followers, but the question is, who are these followers? And why are they interested in seeing this type of content?
Well, what it is this type of, so I mean, not the kids stuff specifically, but somebody of an affluent means is like, that's very big on social media specifically. Like, that's the whole point of like travel influencers,
I mean,
is to show you the vacation you're never going to be able to afford.
It's been a big thing forever.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a show in the 80s called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of, for you know, what people would consider normal people to see that kind of luxurious
It's
lifestyle.
so luxurious. It's so
interesting.
affluent. And I think that's interesting. But what I don't understand is this timeline. Like, it starts going to school, right? And then somehow she drives them to school, but somehow they all come back on their own.
Yeah.
It's like the timeline, the math's not mathing here. Nothing's adding up. Who brought them home? The chauffeur?
Yeah, so I don't understand that. Especially, we didn't see a chauffeur. We didn't see anybody else. I don't understand drinking that early in the morning. Also, like, she looked pretty clean. Maybe on a Saturday, but
There's
like
a reason that I don't drink anymore
Right.
because
Well,
I
that makes
understood
sense.
it very well.
But I don't get also, like, she looked super put together when she left, and then we're supposed to expect that she hadn't bathed yet, or is this like the second?
That was the
time
I
she's
need a
bathing
she's
of
like
the
I need a break bath. She's like I need to
A break
wind
from
down.
what? She's done nothing. Like I don't know. I guess I don't understand the uber wealthy or what they find intriguing in life, because I would find that to be just, I mean, maybe that's a spa weekend, in which case leave your kids with the nanny. She must have 4 of them, right? Because there's 4 kids.
Yeah. Well,
Also,
I mean,
did she birth these children, or is this like a surrogate situation? Is she just paying for everything?
I wasn't able to find the woman who originally posted this because there's no watermark, but I'm just going to assume that none of this is real and it's all highly curated and planned.
Sketch Therapy says, "Where's the dad?" The dad's the one who paid for all that. He's
Right.
likely at work.
He's at work.
Yeah.
What most people were commenting on this video is that there's something unsettling about it, and they just can't place exactly what it is.
There's a lot unsettling. Yeah.
Not just the way that it makes no sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
but
it definitely
the way
makes
that
no
the
sense.
children are portrayed in it, and obviously to normal people like us, that wouldn't come off as suggestive or inappropriate at all. But to a certain faction of creepy dudes on the internet, that is definitely the kind of content that they're looking for. And as I was looking into this, I found an investigative report that the New York Times put out last year titled "The Men Who Use Instagram to Groom Child Influencers." And there are a lot of these accounts starring children who are under the age of 13. So it's against Instagram terms of service for anyone under the age of 13 to have an account, but they find this loophole by showing in the bio this account is run by parents or managers or momagers. And there are a lot of these young girls specifically gaining a huge following on Instagram with content that is suggestive, where they're, professional gymnasts or dancers or swimmers wearing swimsuits and leotards, dancing, and these men have created their own database to find the accounts that will send them private photos separately. And one of the moms who was featured in that New York Times piece was named Elisa, who runs her daughter's Instagram account. She had been managing her daughter's Instagram since 2020, when the girl was 11 years old. The account has over 100,000 followers, and some followers pay $9.99 a month for additional photos. Of what?
That's creepy.
That's like some kind of weird, like twisted version of OnlyFans, but not saying that it is. The mom, Elisa, faced criticism and creepy messages from followers, including accusations of exploiting her daughter to attract PDF files.
Well, that is a really, really big stretch. Like that the intent is to attract people that would, hurt your child.
I mean, it doesn't sound that far-fetched to me with the amount of examples that they provided. There are moms who explicitly are trying to exploit their children for clicks, for brand deals, but also
that's one thing.
If
but
you think
intentionally to get someone to assault their child.
No. What they're saying is that the photos are being sold to.
They know, and they know even if they're not selling photos. They know
who's watching it.
They know who's watching it because they're the ones who are reading the comments and blocking those people.
There's a 20.
David Aramond said, clip title seems to fit video. Kids go to activities, come home and clean up. They then relax after getting into comfy, cute slippers and robes. See no problems here.
I think, look, this is just one of those things where it's you can't put your finger on why it seems weird. To me, it's more that the mom is suggestively dressed and then the kids are prominently featured in the video. You know, she gets in the she gets in the bath.
I think the reason you see no problem here is because you're not a PDF file.
Yeah.
I think the reason you're not picking up what she's putting down is because you're not the target demographic for this type of content. And there are countless examples of these little girl, like famous child influencers. And when you look at their page, obviously, if you're not twisted in the mind, you don't interpret it sexually, but
maybe Instagram
you can still
was a mistake.
see what's intended behind those posts and who it's really intended for. And there is actually an entire database that has been compiled by those creepy men online to look for accounts like this and detail which ones are willing to send you photos for extra money. There are creeps everywhere, and I'm glad that none of us are included in that group of people, but it's more common than you might think. There is a Telegram chat room that the New York Times investigated, and they found men were treating children's Instagram pages as subscription services and put them together in menus. They trade information about parents who are considered receptive to producing and selling private images. A group with more than 4,000 members was highly organized with an FAQ page, a Google sheet that tracked nearly 700 children, identifying them by hashtags to help members find them within the long chat history. The group's logo showed a child's hand in an adult hand.
Good Lord.
That's really gross.
So I'm not saying that this Momfluencer in particular is guilty of what they're talking about here, which is far more sinister.
Yes.
But I do think there's just something sinister about it in general.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
even
I
if
mean,
you don't think that there's the risk there, if you're so naive that you don't see the risks, that's still a reality of what you're doing. And I even follow an influencer who happens to be a mom. I wouldn't necessarily call her a momfluencer, but she posted lots of pictures of her kids because obviously, you know, as a parent, you think your kids are so adorable. You want to share it with the world. But then she realized that some pictures of her children were ending up on these sketchy Facebook pages being listed with different names as if they were up for adoption, literally.
Putting pictures of your children, like especially small children, on the internet is literally the dumbest thing you can
really
do.
bad.
If you have any thought about security for you and your family, putting the most valuable thing that is in your life, and the most vulnerable thing that's in your life on the internet for predators to see is the most idiotic thing you can do. Like there's a reason that, you know, people put like the little stickers and stuff above their kids' faces, and that's smart. You probably shouldn't put pictures of your kids up there at all, but putting pictures of putting the stickers above their faces is smart. I mean, women put stickers over their feet because of creeps.
I was just gonna
for
say,
God's sake, like.
I remember when I found out about that whole feet online thing, and
unreal.
I was horrified. Yeah.
Like, I mean,
but the thing with kids too is parents don't know. They just want to, like, you know, some parents don't know. They just want to, like, I did that. I shared pictures of my son, and then after I moved into like this industry, I put everything on private, took everything down. I was like, I
would never.
No.
I mean, granted, I've been in the public eye for a long time, so like, you know, that's kind
I
of,
mean, it used to be a normal thing to put pictures of your kid on Facebook because you'd be sharing it with like your mom and your aunts and your cousins who live across the country that you don't see that often. But yeah, now there's just, Facebook is weirder than it was. And it's just, there's so many predators out there. You have no idea.
Yeah. I wouldn't put any pictures of children.
No, I don't even put, like on my Instagram, I barely ever put pictures of friends. Like, you know, I would only, like, I only put pictures of friends and associates that are like in the industry as well. Otherwise, I just leave everybody alone.
Also, like a lot of work went into making this, which is just like there's like the overhead shot of them getting into the car. I'm like, did she like set her phone up on a tripod and then run back upstairs to go get it? Are the kids gonna be late for school?
The production level on it is definitely uncanny, but it's because that video is a brand deal. Okay, she was clearly displaying products on the counter,
like the car and the matcha.
It could be the car.
Sephora
It could be the Tiffany and Co. cup that she was drinking out of. It could be the products that she showed.
You're good. I
during
didn't even
bath
notice
time,
any of those things.
The robes, the slippers. She could have
at the very
multiple
least,
brand
any of
deals
the, any
in
of
this
the
video
products
alone.
that had individual shots that show her like using them.
But
Absolutely.
in most of these examples, I'm sure that these parents are just naive. In others, of course, there are going to be some messed up people who make suggestive content, including their children on purpose. Or there are some that are in between who see that their child has a following and they see the creeps as a necessary cost to the lifestyle it provides.
Yeah.
But they're taking all of their kids' money. They're like, when they're pimping out their kids on social media, the parents take that money. So there's very few states that have laws in place that require parents to put that money aside, like it does for,
California
Hollywood stars.
just put something in place like
does.
that. There was like memes going around. It's like, why our family is picking up and moving to Texas. Like they're going to make content out of the fact that they're leaving California so they don't have to give their kids any money.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's really disturbing that that's what they do. I mean,
as bad as Hollywood is,
you should not be like, there's some safeguards. I mean, Macaulay Culkin saw to that, right?
So
his lawsuits.
It's like I said, it's disturbing, but you can't really put a finger on it. Though I think the top comment on that post said that it wasn't anything like that. It said it's disturbing because that level of wealth should be off limits when there's a genocide going on in Gaza.
Oh,
that was
God,
the top comment.
Well, that's the real moral of the story here.
That wasn't.
That was it.
No.
Comment. Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the
Oh
top
my
comment.
God! See, I hate that person more than the person that put up the video.
Oh yeah, the comment you're referring to says, "Sorry, love your stuff, but this is ridiculous. In a world where people in Gaza are starving and freezing, this is just obscene to celebrate."
I hate those people so much.
All right.
All right. Moving on.
Let's do some super chats, guys. We're about halfway to a third crisis party.
An awesome person said, "Unashamed is a good Christian podcast. I haven't heard of it myself, but yeah, recommend." Greg Duvier said, "If I want to listen to chickens balk at each other on the weekends, I'll just watch Chicken City.
Yeah.
At least I'll get correct info from Chicken City." David Lowe said, "Keep the faith every day, everybody. Better times are ahead." Are they?
Let's hope so.
Maybe they're not, and maybe that's okay.
Let's do one. Let's do one more.
I think better and worse are always ahead, really.
Yeah, it's a mix. Pop Culture Junkie said, from Nielsen, the View audience averages 2.5 million viewers, leans female 25 to 54 on the affluent side.
Well, yeah, because they don't have to work because their husband's working.
So that's the audience for the daytime television.
Yeah. But I'm saying those people are probably out doing
stuff.
things on the weekends.
You said taking
They're
their
yachting.
kids to soccer practice or
Well, you play games on the weekends to go practice during the week.
doing whatever that mom was doing in that video, I guess. It's weird because it was like all in the morning.
Yeah. And why did the boy come home later?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's just like...
And that was another weird part of the video. It looked like she only showed shots of her kids in the bath when it was her daughters and not the son.
Well, he was getting in the shower.
Okay.
He was in a totally different bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It's just odd.
One more.
The next one I am not going to read. Jeff said that's BS that Gen Z is moving away from debaucherous culture. If that was true, then explain why girls turning 18 then going to OF is so common.
It's such a small portion of the population. Even though there are a lot of women that are doing it, like when you think about how many women there are out there that turn 18 every day or whatever, it is a very, very, very small portion that actually do that.
Well, in absolute numbers, it's definitely a very small portion, but that just kind of proves the point, actually, because what all of these conservative commentators are saying is like, isn't it so great that Gen Z has better morals than previous generations because they're not drinking, partying, or having sex? Well, OnlyFans is literally the answer to the demand vacuum that is left from people not having sexual relationships anymore. It's a simulation of that. So that makes perfect sense to me that that would be the substitute when the sexual culture has kind of receded and nobody is in relationships or dating during their teen years anymore.
Even the drug addiction part could be put on social media, that they're getting their dopamine hits from being chronically online more than using substances.
Well, they're not drinking because they're not socializing. It's very straightforward
They're smoking weed alone at
explanation.
home.
They're smoking weed at home or ripping pens, and or they're on prescription Adderall since they were like 7 years old.
Yep.
So there's no reason to be optimistic. I'm just saying, it makes sense to me why OnlyFans is more common, and that doesn't necessarily negate the point.
All right, let's talk about the boyfriend applications.
Yeah. All of you eligible bachelors out there, listen up, because Gen Z women have taken to posting boyfriend applications on their social media. Apparently, they're so desperate for a relationship, they have turned to TikTok and Instagram to find a boyfriend. It was just last month that we talked about the femcel movement among Gen Z women. They are voluntarily opting out of dating and hookup culture because they can't seem to land a boyfriend that is, looking for commitment. I think that's really why they're so jaded, is because they feel they can't find any men in their generation that want to be in a relationship. They just want a sneaky link.
These same women are the ones that are giving out an application to men?
The reality is it's not the same women.
Okay, I was going to say, because
But I do
it
see
seems counterproductive.
these trends parallel each other in such funny ways. But yeah, there are these couple of examples from TikTok. First of all, this girl named Anise Armstrong posted about boyfriend applications opening up for 2025. Let's take a look at her announcement.
Terrible idea.
Watch this here. Here we go, guys.
So I just want to let everybody know that in 2025, I will be accepting boyfriend applications. Yes, very exciting. No uglies. No uglies, no uneducated, and I'm not playing. Anyways, DM me. Thank you. I'm so excited. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
It's designed to piss you off.
It's no uglies, no uneducated, but there are even more requirements in her follow-up video.
Oh, let's hear them. Let's hear them. I'm excited for this.
And we're updating the list. So 2025 boyfriend applications revised. Let's get into it. First is no brokies. No brokies. I don't know how I forgot. I just I think I was just too busy playing on here to not really be thinking. I was just yapping. So yes, no brokies. We're not explaining that, okay? Next is still no uglies. Yeah. We're standing on that. Not explaining that. Yeah. This next one shocked me. I saw a lot in the comments, and I'm surprised, but I'm actually not surprised. So this next one is no baby daddies. I don't know what y'all did in 2024, but y'all will not be continuing into 2025. Have a nice year. Thank you. The next one, of course, is no uneducated. And a lot of people were saying no Trumpies too, and I feel like that goes hand in hand because only an uneducated person will vote for Trump, right? Exactly.
What a moron.
Next
No
was
one should want to be her
nonchalant
boyfriend.
men and no emotionally unavailable men, which I feel like it's the same thing.
I have to stop for a second. What is a nonchalant man? Because I chalant heavily.
It just means guys who kind of act like they're not into you.
Okay, so they're they're flippant.
Nobody is going to fill out your application, woman.
Yeah, I think she should go back to the app.
Okay, here we go.
That further, okay? Lover boys only. Are you hearing this? Are you getting this? Lover boys only. This whole pretending to not, you're done. It's over. I'm not even talking about it anymore. Be obsessed with me or be gone. Honestly, it's boring, and you know what I mean? We're looking for a new storyline, a new plot line this year.
This woman epitomizes...
We're looking for interesting men only, and nonchalant men just do not fit that box.
This woman is the
epitome
of the I am the table idea.
I am the table.
Wait. Pause it and go. Pause it and go back.
So pause it. Yeah.
You mean like Aristotle?
Do you want to explain what I am the table?
Yeah. So.
You mean the ideal table?
When you say, well, what do you bring to the table? Women say, what do you bring to the table? And men have to do, men are all these things that she's saying they have to bring to the table. And when women say, well, what do you bring to her? And she's like, I am the table. So these are all the things you have to give to me for me to be interested in a relationship with you. And then a man's like, well, what are you going to do? And essentially she's like, well, I'm the table.
She's
like
the main character.
I'm just I'm the main character. I'm the reason that there is even a relationship
but like,
at all. And
you
that
put
is
a picnic on a blanket on the ground. Like you don't even need a table.
This is horribly detrimental to relationships at all. Relationships are give and take. Relationships are not one-way streets. And that's literally like they name like this is a dead end relationship. The only person in the relationship is this woman.
I will give her this. She is brilliant at her job, which is to annoy the hell out of you and make women say yes, Queen Slay.
Before we continue, we have another 20 from David Aramond. Gen Z women are reaping the quote-unquote rewards of third wave feminism pushed in 1970s through the 2010s by boomer and Gen X women who are empowered and boss babes. So now these types from clip are highly entitled and narcissistic.
I mean, I think a lot of this is performative. Even the laughing
she
after
probably
she
just
says
has
something.
a boyfriend at this point. She probably has a boyfriend, and this is just content.
The cackle is on purpose.
My theory is that she was hurt by her ex-boyfriend that dumped her in 2024, and now she's acting unbothered about it. But let's continue.
Like the lady on Ricky Lake who's like, I so don't like this guy anymore that I'm going to make him go on Ricky Lake so that I can show him what he's missing.
Either that or she's one of these people who's only ever had like really short-term relationships.
This is her cope.
All right, here we go.
Super shallow.
We're looking for interesting men only, and nonchalant men just do not fit that box. A lot of the girls were saying husband applications only. Okay. I can't agree. For me personally, I'm just a 27-year-old teenage girl.
It's
designed
to make you
mad.
because
to not be serious in this economy is not funny. Girls are also saying no 50-50. No 50-50. It's 100-0. 100-0.
I am the table.
No, for real. 100-0 or nothing. Like, I'm dead serious because no. I don't have a reason and I don't have to. I'm just a girl. And I feel like this trend where the girls have been like, babe, I don't have the rent this month. Yeah, we all know, we all saw that shut this conversation down. So we're going to move forward as a nation. 100-0. 100 on the men, 0 on the women, to be very clear. And the last one that the girls are saying, which I hate to say, is no short kings. Listen, don't shoot the messenger. Go look at my last video. That's where I got all these from. It was just in the comments. But yeah, if I missed anything, let me know. Because I just want to be a voice for the girls, and I hate to misrepresent. Also, TikTok, put this on his For You page. And I'm not playing. Bye, guys.
She is so good at making people mad. It's very impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not so sure that it's just a rage bait.
I mean, at the very least, maybe not rage, but it's designed to reach a specific audience, and that specific audience is diametrically opposed to the people who'd be angry by it, right? So the women that this is supposed to be for, it's the type of thing that will annoy the men. They're not meant for each other. These people were not supposed to exist in the same space.
So you don't think that this is actually for men, for men to see? You think it's
no, I don't. It's for women to coalesce around and say, yes, Queen Slay.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, but
that or she's
where's
delusional.
The slay? She's not like, no one's gonna want to go out with her.
And it's not even because
I wouldn't even want to be her friend.
It's not even because of any of those requirements in and of themselves. It's the way that her personality is. It's really just that. Because you can have all sorts of requirements, and as long as you have some class and discretion and you're pleasant,
also
it's fine.
Shouldn't your requirements adjust based on how you feel about a person that you meet?
Oh, and by the way, like, what is this theoretical man investing all of this time, effort, and money into if you're not even interested in getting married?
Right. You just want a boyfriend for 1 year.
Like,
She specifically said 0. She said, I will do nothing at all, make no commitments. I don't want to have to do anything at all, and you have to give everything to me. She's not that pretty.
Well, she is a model. I looked into her a little bit. She is a model. Serious inquiries only.
If the guy that she's describing, like, attracts women like her every day, all the time, or and he sees attractive women,
that's
like
true.
The guy that she's like, he has to be all of these things. If he's all those things, he's gonna find a girl that's just as pretty as you. That's not gonna make all those demands. That's gonna or he'll find a girl that's just a little less pretty than you that will do anything for him. And she is she's absolutely delusional in her perspective.
I think it is a cope, though. I think that this whole video is a cope, and this whole persona that she's putting on, like she's so unbothered and she's so self-assured. It's a cope because she's had terrible dating experiences thus far, and her coping mechanism is to simply raise her standards even higher so that no one can hurt her because no one will be interested in her.
Totally possible.
I don't even think
We
it's
have
a cope.
another 20
I think it's
from
an act.
Gordon Shumway. I foresee this lady getting 100 cats. Mary, why wasn't this cringe of the day? Well, we really needed to dedicate more time to this than cringe of the day.
Like 5,600 followers does not.
That's not a lot,
to
does it?
this content.
Yeah.
Like
it's like, okay, some of those standards are standards that I myself share. Obviously, you don't want to date a guy who pretends not to be interested in you. I wouldn't do 50-50 with guys. But it comes down to your personality and what you're looking for in the future. And what she expressed in that video is that she is unabashedly obnoxious and not interested in investing in a future with anyone because she's just a 27-year-old teenage girl.
That was when I was just like, this is a bit. Like you said it's a cope. I think it's an act.
No respectable man is going to be wasting his time with any of that.
Nope.
And the reality is that kind of guy that she's looking for, I'll kind of tweak what you said, Phil. He's just gonna find probably a girl as pretty as her, a girl with actually the same requirements as her, who just isn't obnoxious.
Who has the same requirements, but is like, you know what? I care about him, and I'm gonna do these things, right? Like she can have all those requirements and be like, I want all this stuff. But I also am going to take care of him. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Whatever it may be. I don't, whatever it could be like, I'm going to take care of the house. Because you look at the previous thing that we just had, the woman that was, that had the whatever, the Land Rover and the kids and stuff. She's a very attractive woman, and she has taken care of the kids and stuff like that. I'm sure she has plenty of help. But the point is, like, she brings those things to the relationship. I can take care of the family. I can do this. I can do that. This woman that we're just talking about, she specifically says, I'm not doing anything at all. You have to do everything for me. You are not going to find the man that actually fits those things and will accept you doing nothing. Yeah. Because if he has all of the things that you want, he has all the things that every woman wants. And that means that he is going to be in high demand. And it also shows that she's really dumb, that she can't figure that out.
But also the way that she speaks is kind of dumb.
Well,
I 100% buy that this woman has a boyfriend already who treats her like shit, and she does this as an act to go viral on social media.
I think what she has is a situationship.
Yeah.
And she hates that she's in a situationship or has been in the recent past, and is sick of the general sexual and dating culture among Gen Z, which is non-committal.
And another thing, if she is, or it's possible that she got into a situationship because she found a dude that has all the things that she wants,
and a bunch of other girls on the side,
because he has all those
why
things.
Would you not?
Exactly, he has all those things, and he can have whoever he wants. And so, why does he have to commit to you, young lady? There are 3 other girls that are dying for his attention because he has all these things. It's such a dumb.
I remember
thing.
This is sort of random, but I remember finding a UPS guy on the subway once really attractive, and I broke it down, and I was like, oh, it's because he has a job. He just has a job. Like that's that was amazing.
You're like the brown
I was like,
shorts,
wow.
The brown shirt. That's.
I said it to my friend, and she was
swooning.
Like, yeah. I wasn't exactly swooning, but I was like,
he's in a union.
My man doesn't have a job. Like this guy has a job.
He's going to work. It's
He's
before
showing
noon.
up.
It's before noon. Are you crazy?
Yeah, well, I think it's more so that she's putting on a front because she hates the type of behavior that she has tolerated from men before, and she's gonna put on this act like, I'm not playing games anymore. I'm not putting up with this anymore. And it's just a front because, I mean, this is what I said when the 4B movement took over. I was like, nah, these women love making dick appointments. Like, they love hooking up with men. So you're like obsessed with men, actually. And you're not the person that you're portraying yourself to be at all. But as you said, Phil, with someone that would actually offer something back, I think I know someone like that. She met her husband, I swear, by posting a husband application online.
I think
on her social media
is a little better than a boyfriend application.
Her now husband put in an application. Granted, I mean, they were young, so it was like a little playful thing, but he submitted an application and they ended up getting married.
That's another thing is if she's like, oh, blah, 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 and then he does it in a playful way that could be a way to flirt and make jokes about it and make light of it, and you can navigate that kind of thing in a way that isn't demeaning to either person. But it takes someone that's smart to do that, and that's not her. This woman is not a smart person.
Have you put some thought into what I asked you earlier? If you made a girlfriend application, I don't think a guy would ever do this, but if you made a girlfriend application, like, what would be in it?
None of that. I'm engaged now.
Your name must be a little.
Look, man.
Oh, I saw your picture. That's so awesome. I'm so happy for you guys.
I was single for a long time because I didn't have an official thing filled out, like, or written out or whatever, but there were very, very distinct, specific things that I was looking for, you know? And it's like, I know exactly what I would put into a girlfriend application.
Well, what was it then?
Well, first of all, you couldn't be like a a woman that would look at the career as the most important thing that she's doing in her life, because I want a family, and if you're gonna put a career as in front of the family, then I'm not gonna waste my time. It wouldn't be interesting.
Also, it turns out careers are not as interesting as kids and family.
Yeah, and so I mean that, and I want someone that also I go to the gym a lot, so I want someone that goes to the gym and cares about like eating healthy and stuff. I spent a lot of years drinking and smoking cigarettes, so I can't live like, I can't be rough on myself nowadays. So there are things that I would be looking for, but I mean, I'm a guy. I'm not going to be like, you have to make this much money. If you have
that's traditionally not a guy thing that guys look
dudes
for.
don't care about that. Yeah. I mean even like some of the kind of the manosphere dude whatevers have said these things in a crass way, but I mean essentially guys don't care if a woman works at McDonald's. Guys don't care if a woman is a bartender or a waitress or whatever. They're like, oh cool, you're attractive, it doesn't matter what you do. Women on the other hand will look at what a guy does and say, I won't date a garbage man. I won't date a guy that does this.
Crazy.
I won't date a guy like that.
I think that's
I won't date a
absolutely
UPS
nuts.
man, she says.
No, I mean, I think that's nuts, because if a man's working for a living and he's working hard and he, cares about that, then that's the important part. Like show up to work, you do your job. That's an ethos that is lost.
Well,
also, there's nothing wrong with being a garbage man. I mean, there's nothing wrong with like working for a living.
Well, but the point that I'm making is, even though you disagree,
I totally disagree.
It will be women that will make that decision.
Right.
Guys will never say, I don't like her.
Well, you have this
except
situation
for unless they're like a sex worker, or if they're like some kind of the
I would
OnlyFans
not
or
be able to
stripper.
handle that if
Guys
I
will be
was
like, no, I'm not doing that. But if it's a situation where it's like, oh, she has a job that is considered lowbrow, even a girl that if she likes horses, and because she likes horses she goes and she mucks stalls
She,
just
works at
because
the stables
yeah,
or
like
whatever.
that's like, okay, well, I love horses and I love to be around them, and the guys will be like, oh, I don't care that you come home smelling, get in the shower. Like that's it. That's the long and short of it.
Wouldn't the assumption be that if a woman grew up loving horses, she probably came from money? Am I wrong?
Possibly.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm envisioning like
plenty
a
of
real
horse
Hallmark
girls.
film here with this horse.
Yeah,
thing.
like remember,
There's
maybe if she
stables.
goes and,
Then there's the rich guy, and like his parents own a racehorse and whatever, and he doesn't want to inherit the whatever. I think there's a lot going on.
If she's mucking the stalls, she's probably not the wealthy person.
Before we move on from this topic, I also wanted to share another video from an influencer that shared her dating tips for dating as a millionaire. She is a business owner and a millionaire, and this is her whole boyfriend audition process.
How I date as a multi-millionaire. As a businesswoman, I don't have time to swipe through Tinder, go on endless dates, and hope that some random guy checks all the boxes. And I don't compete with anyone in anything except when it comes to money and business. When my girls and I go on a date, we don't mess around. We just book a room and have 300 pre-screens. Qualified guys delivered right to us. Turn the lights all the way up. Then, just like a group job interview, I ask one question and whoever gives me the best answer gets to stay for the second round. What can you bring to the table? But let's be real, all these guys look the same to me, with makeup thicker than my tax returns. I seriously can't remember any of their faces even if I try. How good is English? I'm not talking to you. So I told the manager to switch up the inventory and bring in something different. But honestly, the only thing I care about is how much value you can bring to my company, how much money you can help me make. I'm here looking for a zero-risk investment. At the end, my assistant narrows it down to 3 guys, checks their credentials in the government system, and verifies their birth certificate and IDs to make sure they didn't lie about their city, education, and age. So, do you guys like a dating experience like this?
And she listed her checklist
The
here.
second one is my favorite.
6 feet tall, makes under $2,000 a month, so that she can have more money than him.
Yep.
Has to be a non-smoker, non-drinker, from a third-tier city, born after 2000, speaks English, has Instagram, and lastly, brainwashable.
Again, this is satire. I have to imagine that this is satire. I believe both videos are just designed for engagement sake.
It's pretty funny. All right. Let's finish up our super
Let's
chats.
do that. Let's hang out.
Red Snow said, y'all should get 3 play buttons at this point. I know, right?
Seriously.
That's what we really deserve.
Seriously.
Corey Anderson said, my theoretical list, no women with cheap fake hair. Is that what you're saying about the TikToker? It did look like a wig, but I wasn't going to say anything.
Do you ever see that episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where there was an earthquake and they got locked in the, Will Smith got locked in the basement with his prom date? No. And as there was like an earthquake and they were like locked in there for a long time, she kept taking off parts of herself until she like took off her wig. She took off her high heels and she was short. She took off her fake eyelashes. She took off like, she took like the fake boobs out of her because she had like extra.
Oh, yeah.
She took everything off and he was finally like, girl, is there anything on you that's real? What's going on?
Olvin McGoth said a lot of demands from a black lady who probably brings nothing to the table.
Again, I would.
She is the table.
I would rather you just look at the video as engagement bait from somebody who's trying to grow a social media.
If you look at it like that, though, there's nothing to say about it.
It's
like
funny.
the conversation's over.
Fair point. Fair point.
Gordon Shumway said, I foresee this lady. Oh, I think I already read this one. Dingus Khan said, I love this show. Y'all make my day.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.
Very wholesome.
Right on time.
There we go.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for the crisis party.
They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat.
I did see the clip the other day that was going around on YouTube Shorts where Carlton and they get their SAT scores, and Carlton calls himself the smartest man in the world, and they find out that Will Smith got the higher SAT score, and he's just crushed. Good stuff.
James Coteritis said, horse girls are expensive. I promise from experience. Also, Phil, do you have a favorite second generation metalcore band and why? Cheers, guys.
Second generation metalcore band. I'm not.
Can you
exactly
explain this generation thing?
Well, I'm not really sure when there would be like the disembarkation line from first generation to second generation. I assume that All That Remains would be a first gen metalcore band, along with like bands like Killswitch, Bullet for My Valentine, As I Lay Dying, etc. As for second generation, I'm not really sure. I think I Prevail's pretty cool, but I'm not sure if they fit into the.
That seems like it would be.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if they fit into metalcore.
They're just. Do they mean just like 2000s versus 2010s?
I'm not positive. And also that I think that I Prevail might have gotten their start in the 2000s with their cover of because they covered the song it was a song from 1989 by Taylor Swift. I forget which song
Blank
it was.
Space.
Yeah, Blank Space.
I saw them perform it live. It was awesome.
Oh, really? I think that was in like I mean, that came out, 1989 came out in what? In
2013.
2013? Okay, so maybe it would be I Prevail then. They're pretty slick, but I don't know I don't know where the dividing line is specifically.
You're not hip to that.
I'm not.
With
no,
the young
I'm not,
people.
Unfortunately. I mean, yeah, because maybe people would say Bring Me the Horizon is, but I'm not sure because Bring Me the Horizon.
They fell off so bad, in my opinion.
When?
After like.
Was it after Jordan left?
I actually no. I think it was.
After Sempiternal?
No. What was the one with the umbrella on the cover?
That's a great record. I don't remember the name of it, or I don't remember what. Yeah, I don't. Remember
It was okay, but then after that,
great.
it was just I didn't care for it.
Anyways.
Okay. Ulvin McGoth said brainwashing is definitely her kink. Hee hee. If that's her kink, she needs to get a personality.
That's creepy.
Tacty Platty said, Libby, you can help Brett with his newfound downtime and guide him into his Star Trek era.
You cannot.
Oh my goodness.
You cannot make me watch it. Never will. And the more you ask, the less likely I ever am to do it.
But you have seen Star Wars?
Well, yeah, and I've seen sporadic episodes of Star Trek. I just don't care. We literally got I got a mess or somebody tweeted at me the other day Brett, Star Trek or Star Wars, and I wrote a really like mean response and just didn't send it because not mean, but
how was it mean?
I was just be it's literally anything else basically Firefly. I'll take Firefly over those two any day.
Sarah just texted me. It's called That's the Spirit, and
one.
They fell off after that one. So.
They did.
I love Firefly.
I just maybe one day I will turn on an episode of Star Trek and it will be so good that I will fall in love with it.
But you have to feel like you made the choice.
Yeah.
You're you have that thing called pathological demand avoidance. Where if anyone suggests something to you, you can't do it.
The worst thing you can do is recommend something to me because then I'm going to be like, no. Actually, that's not. I guess.
But I've been telling you to watch Scream Queens.
Yeah.
You will like it. It has Glenn Powell in it before he was Glenn Powell.
I'll get around to that one. That one's more maybe it's because of whatever my recommendations are, but the best way for me to find something is to be browsing and then it shows up in the recommends of some subcategory. And then I say, oh, I'll click on it and watch it. In that case, probably just based on my recommendations, it never shows up anywhere.
I'll hack into the system.
And make sure it comes up front and center.
I'll be
at the beginning.
I'm in.
Yeah. I've hacked the mainframe.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing about watching stuff from the 2000s. It's you're hacking a mainframe.
Tacty Platty said, Brett, how about that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episode where Will was rejected by his dad and Uncle Phil was consoling him right in the feels hard?
Yeah, I mean,
that was a good one.
I wasn't the biggest Fresh Prince was one of those ones that I watched in the background because it would be on regular television from time to time, but I never had a strong people were really excited when they made the serious version of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that came out a couple of years ago.
What's
and I'm
serious version?
What do you
There's
mean?
a reboot and it's
it's not
drama.
funny
and not Will Smith.
It's not Will Smith.
It's sort of pointless without Will Smith.
The most I spent a summer in Philadelphia and they had a channel that played nothing but Fresh Prince of Bel-Air all day long, so it was just constantly on.
That was it?
How many seasons did it have?
I don't know. A lot of seasons. But
eventually he and Carlton moved into the pool house.
And Carlton, what is that guy's name?
Alfonso Ribeiro.
Ribeiro, right? He went on to be a very successful dude.
Well, he was a child star. Yeah. I mean, he was on this show. You guys don't remember it, of course. But he was on this show called Silver Spoons with Ricky Schroeder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
You remember? And the dad drove around the house on a little toy train.
Yep.
Yeah, and Alfonso Ribeiro was on that show. He was Ricky Schroeder's best friend.
His dad owned a toy store, right? That's why he was
a
rich,
toy
right?
company.
A toy company. Okay.
He was a rich, and he had that sort of feathered hair parted in the middle.
Yes, I did as well.
Yeah.
You did?
When I was a kid, yeah.
I never had that hair.
I was
I had, yeah.
If you saw pictures of me when I was a teenager, you would be astounded at how young I looked. When I was 15, I looked like I was
I want to see that.
Exciting.
I think I have one.
I guess that was before the bowl cut took over.
I had feathered hair.
Yeah,
it
was
turns
never
out.
a bowl cut.
Now I'm remembering in 5th grade I had feathered hair.
And that was your choice?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
I didn't
you were
pick
just
my
told.
clothes and I didn't pick my hair.
You weren't allowed, or did you even care?
No, I wasn't allowed.
You didn't even.
I cared.
You did care. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I didn't have really any choice in the matter.
That's interesting because I got to choose like everything.
Yeah.
It's a huge generational difference.
Yeah, well,
I would never have been forced to get a haircut that I didn't want.
I was forced to get haircuts I didn't want all the time. Yeah, like I had really, really long hair when I was in first grade, and then I was made to get it cut. And
You're Gen X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Eventually I ended up with this horrible, what was called a Dorothy Hamill haircut.
What?
She was like a figure skater, and she had this really, really bad haircut. And I ended up with that for a little while, and I didn't like that. Then I had like a feathered haircut. Eventually I moved.
Can somebody tell me what a feathered haircut is? I don't know what that means.
It's like layers, but it sort of looks like feathers, and it sort of like swoops-ish back.
Sounds scary.
It's scary.
I'm looking at the haircut.
Eventually, yeah.
Right
you
now.
see this Dorothy Hamill? Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's pretty, so she can get away with it.
Right. But in like
yeah.
6th grade, no, I could not get away with that haircut. I really didn't like it.
Not a look.
Not a look.
One thing Scream Queens has going for it, though, is like one of the major reasons I don't start a lot of these shows is like, watch the show with 12 seasons, will you? And I'm like, that's such a commitment.
That is a huge
I
deal.
can't do that. Like, just no. Like, people, like, there was a post the other, and Scream Queens only has like 2 or 3 seasons, right? So that's a lot more digestible.
That's
like,
one
you're
thing I liked about The Good Place. It was like 3 seasons or something.
Yeah, like somebody posted this thing the other day. It's like, what show that got canceled like broke your heart? I'm like, none, because half the time I just stopped the show in the middle anyways. Like most shows that I really, really like, I finished 2 or 3 times, but then I just sporadically watch until I start losing interest again, and then come back after the fact, and then just worm my way through everything, but don't actually like commit. Olivia has to put it on at episode 1 and finish it until the end.
I was telling you this should be
that.
your New Year's resolution, is that you actually commit to what you're watching.
Yeah. But you've already committed to a lady. I mean, TV really should be way down the list.
James Kodoridis, he like clarified what he was talking about by second generation or like next generation metalcore bands, i.e. Bullet, A Day to Remember, etc., non-OGs.
Bullet? I really feel like Bullet for My Valentine was one of the OGs. They were pretty early. But I mean, I really do like Bullet, so maybe Bullet.
Miles Swan said, "Bring Me the Horizon, that's the Spirit Umbrella album."
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was like good at the time, but then I listened it back after, and I just thought, like, this is kind of chuggy. I don't know.
Chuggy?
Yeah.
What does chuggy mean?
Have you heard that term before?
No, that's the first one for me.
Cheugy. I bet Sarah's heard the term chuggy, but it just felt very...
I hadn't heard it until I heard it from you.
Chuggy?
It felt very millennial coded. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a millennial, and I think the record's great.
Well, then, good for you, Phil.
It is good for me. Thank you very much. Nah.
Daniel J. Korka said, "I'm sick of the epidemic of 33-year-old single women looking for a, quote, good guy to raise their children from S-bag guys they randomly got pregnant from."
That's just a feature of feminism being the zeitgeist of the West.
You would think with the mass availability of birth control that
it wouldn't happen.
Things wouldn't happen, but the absolute number of people sleeping around with non-committal partners was massively increased by the availability of birth control.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is how we ended up in this situation.
A lot of it is because of divorce too. Women will get married in their, or would get married in their 20s or whatever, have a kid or have 2 kids, then decide that they, missed their opportunity to party or whatever.
Hollywood is extremely guilty of making that a very big story. Like if that a very big storyline. It's like, oh, I feel like I missed something. I didn't get to experience these
I do not understand step families. Having been in several step families as
Uncanny
a child,
Valley family.
I was married,
awful.
and I am forever grateful that we did not have any kids because I have no tie to that woman now.
Right? You could just be like, sorry.
I haven't talked to her in years and years and years, and I'm happy about
totally fine.
We have 1,000 of some currency that I've never seen before.
Rupees.
But it looks like it's $100.
I think that'd be $50.
$50? Thank you anyway.
Thank you.
I'm not sure what that is, but this is from Pranvat Gulati. Guys, I think Eric July just came out of the closet, he said.
He's married.
He's married. I don't think that's true.
Who's Eric July?
Sounds unlikely.
He's a YouTuber
comic book
and comic book creator.
Yeah. He used to work at the Blaze. What is the next one? Snorum 11 Aru said Alphonse actually got his start as a mini Michael Jackson in Pepsi commercials.
There you go.
Greg Duvier said Tim will give you a $5,000 raise if you watch all Star Trek, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine. Would you still not watch it?
No. Do you know how much time that would take?
That's a lot.
For $5,000?
That's how would you even be able to to the certain
do I have
time
to
frame?
do I have to get a signed form
That would
says
take
I finished it?
years.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Junie said it's called a fart part. The Dorothy Hamill haircut.
It's terrible.
guess.
Yeah, no, it's not a good haircut. It's bad. I have pictures of me wearing that haircut, and I don't like it. I much preferred the later '90s little Louise Brooks thing.
So you said that currency is that's like $12. I have no idea if that's true.
Must have been the wrong color then. I don't know.
That's a problem. That's
Gordon
okay.
Shumway sent us a 20. I saw a clip from whatever podcast where they asked a girl what she brought to the table, and she wasn't sure how to answer. They asked what she wanted him to bring. She said a few things. Wait, what was the rest of this?
They said you should bring the same.
Okay, what were the things that she said? I'm curious now.
I think she
6 foot, 6 packs.
Because I don't know, she can have those things. Specifically one of those things.
Yes, doesn't abide.
That's not going to happen. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they have a sense that women have inherent value, but they have decided for the sake of sexual license to abdicate that. And they aren't really sure how to explain why they feel they have this innate value, but women do have innate value. They have just kind of shrugged that responsibility,
they take a pill
or really privilege and responsibility
to
off.
neutralize. They take a pill to neutralize that innate value. The innate value is you make babies. If you don't make babies, then you bring nothing to the table.
Ideally, you're willing to commit to one man without having a whole giant suitcase full of disgusting ex-boyfriends that you're dragging along with you who still message you here and there.
There could be some great political art of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even just that. It's like the soul ties thing that people talk about. It's sort of a spiritualized way to refer to pair bonding with people by sexual relationships that end, and most of them do. And then that's the kind of baggage that
and you've soul bonded with them, and so you still keep them around in your life?
Well, I do think that it's spiritual. That's my perspective as a religious person, but just biologically speaking, that's easy to understand.
No, that is easy to understand, but what are you bringing to a new partner if you're dragging all of these old people who you still keep room for in your heart?
You end up on Ricky Lake.
I guess you end up on Ricky Lake.
Making your boyfriend watch you show off to your ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. It's
and
very
then
sad.
Down in the annals of history where that clip is now being played 20 years later on social media.
But you're right, Phil. A woman who is on hormonal birth control is in no meaningful way different from a man. She just looks different.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far, but
because you're erasing the sexual difference. So what is the difference then?
Well, you're erasing her responsibility for sex.
She can cook, right?
Penis.
It's technology that completely erased the sexual difference between men and women, and there are these weird remnants of it that remain.
Function, but not difference.
Yeah.
But I mean, the point though is look, if I'm a man, I'm supposed to bring all of these things that are essentially boil down to supporting you, which is what the argument generally tends to be, right? Then you have to give me a reason to support you. If you're just going to be like, well, I'm going to jet on you as soon as it's convenient for me, then there's nothing of value that you can provide. And again, I reiterate, if your standards are high and you're like, I want a man with all of these things, you must understand you're in competition with the entire world, because a guy that can do that, the guy that can provide you with all those things, he can buy a plane ticket for a beautiful woman from anywhere in the world and she will fly to see him. So you're literally competing with the globe of beautiful women. So
Red Snow said, remember crisis actors, be positive, blood sign.
Oh, yeah. You want to be not O negative?
I guess not. Gordon Shumway said, she said loyalty, kindness, and maturity. Those are her asks for a man to bring those to the table. Surprisingly honest, and yeah, those aren't as shallow as you thought, were they, Brett?
No, they were not. I took that
she's capable of bringing
I
that
took
to the
that she
table,
was
too.
on the whatever podcast and extrapolated from there. So color me for
Those are
judging.
good, though. Loyalty,
Yeah,
kindness, and maturity.
She can bring those to the table. Pranvat Gulati said his boyfriend's name is Brandon, his warehouse manager. It's about $12, by the way.
Again, I don't think
Thank you
that's
for
true.
your transparency.
But thank you for letting us know that it's $12. But
I don't, even if Eric July did just come out as gay, I still wouldn't care. So thanks for the PSA anyway. Though.
Most of what the internet does, I feel constantly that there's just this big discussion going on where people are having all of their back and forths, and I'm just kind of existing next to it.
Yeah.
in all
I don't really
things.
understand how this much drama is generated over comic books, but
the internet.
that seems to be the main focus.
The internets. Yeah.
All right. We're all caught up on the super chats
Chat,
now.
how are you doing? Chat is having their own discussion today. So some days the chat is very, very caught up in our conversation. Some days that they're, having their own back and forth. They were pretty like the lady.
They were upset.
Not upset, but they were like, this lady's clearly very stupid for that third topic, which is completely understandable. I would imagine that many people would agree. She's not a very nice lady.
Yeah.
It was the laughing for me. It was the giggle after everything she said that just, I feel like she's developed this character, whether consciously or unconsciously, that then comes out. And I could totally see somebody like that already being in a relationship, but making viral content that they know is going to upset people.
If that were true, how would her existing boyfriend feel about that?
I mean,
probably not great.
Depends on how much he knows about what she puts on social media.
Yeah. I mean, what it evoked from me was like some sick mixture of like pity and disgust at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I should be disgusted with you or feel bad for you. Kind of teetering between the two.
Dingus Khan in the chat says, Libby, are you on IRL tonight?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
You should come hang out.
I think
Phil
Ian
says I
is-
should come
I
hang
think
out.
It's going to be Ian and Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that pairing.
Well, I'm going to pop over anyway and say hi.
The Outlaw 2 says, hey, Brett, how's your shoulder? It's fine because I'm not moving it. It's when I have
You
to...
were actually wincing in pain earlier, and I was like, I think you might need an ibuprofen, but I'm not going to be your mom about it.
I was explaining that, like, the worst part of the day is putting on a shirt and
No,
putting
you said
deodorant
putting on deodorant,
It's
like,
the
made
absolute
you
worst. It's like you basically want to cry. But other than that, like, it's I have to like explain this to people. Like when people say like does it hurt? No, it doesn't hurt unless I'm moving. If I'm not doing anything, I don't really notice.
I have a question. Did you cry when you fell?
No.
No?
No.
Not even a little?
No.
Because if that were me, I'd be crying.
No, I didn't. I actually, like, when I got up, I heard it crunch. I heard something crunch, and I'm like, this is going to mean an ER trip. I've taken plenty of falls in my life that don't really, hurt for a long period of time, but doesn't require an ER. Shoulder, you have to make sure that you can actually move it in the future. For instance, if you're going to have kids, you want to be able to hold your kids above your head and not be one of those pitchers who throws his arm out when he's in his 20s and then can't lift his arm above his head, right? So had to go to the doctor. And mainly it's just annoying because it makes sleeping very, very difficult because I don't inherently sleep on my back. So it's just very...
Whenever I sleep on my back, I snore.
Yeah.
We have... another from Tacty Platty. Mary, have you watched Time Traveler's Wife film? Have you heard of this?
I've never heard of it.
Has anyone here heard of this?
Or no. I've at least heard the name, but I don't know what it's about.
Was this the thing where like there's a time traveler and every time he comes back, his wife is older?
I see. It
And
tells the
she's like,
story
I'm
of
losing my life and
a man with a genetic disorder that causes him to involuntarily time travel, and his wife is an artist who struggles to cope with his unpredictable absences. I feel like I've heard of this, but no, I have not seen it.
That
It's Rachel
just
McAdams.
sounds like the Remote Control movie with Adam Sandler.
I haven't
You
seen
know what
that
I'm
either.
It's a great concept for a film.
Gordon Shumway said, Libby, your haircut was called the Hamel Wedge, made popular in the late 70s. Thank you, Gen X.
It was terrible. It wasn't thank you, Gen X. It was thank you to our stupid parents who went and
The
took
boomers
us.
then?
Oh, yeah. it
Were
was
your
the
parents boomers?
Well, my dad's a boomer and
Yeah.
my mom's a boomer. And I don't know if my stepmom's a boomer because she was sort of like she would have been very late boomer. She was 10 years younger than my dad.
Well, I think that it's like thinking about how I got to choose my haircuts, my clothes, my everything myself. It's probably a reaction from the Gen Xers that weren't allowed to do any of those things. They want their kids to have the choice.
Most people were allowed to do that stuff, and of the people that I knew, most people were allowed.
Well, because my mom is Gen
It's
X, and she told me about getting forced to get haircuts she didn't want
really?
to. So
My
maybe
parents
I thought
didn't
that
want
was
me to
just
have
like a
long hair.
thing.
It took. I couldn't grow my hair out until I was well into my teens. Like I
I
couldn't.
thought it was just my stupid family.
I think that's
I mean, I have
more
so
widespread.
little memories of when I was. I played hockey, so you're kind of grandfathered into having long hair when you play hockey. You're allowed,
like
even,
allowed,
when, you're
yeah,
young.
yeah.
To the point where like your helmet won't fit if you then cut it, and then it's. I don't think I was ever told I had to have a certain haircut. I did have my dad, like I broke my glasses so much that he made me get the Dahmer glasses and said you have to make these last for a year, and if you break them you have to get them again. Once you get to a year with the same glasses you can get something different to like make me take care of
Did it
my
work?
what I
Did
own.
that
Yeah,
work?
Did people
it did.
make fun of you for having Dahmer glasses?
What are Dahmer glasses? What
Like
do
the,
look
they
like
get
the
bar
wire
across the
rim?
top.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
the
cool
bar.
now, but
Yeah.
people consider them cool now. But no, probably, but I don't remember it. Like I've
You
just
just
emotionally
blocked it
blocked it
out.
out. Like I have no recollection of people making fun of me. Or what's even worse is like, is that even like what's worse, being made fun for it or being so unimportant that people don't even care to make fun of you for
Yeah.
it? Like that might be more traumatic.
There
if you
goes
care.
Brett again with his
You know
stupid
what's funny?
glasses.
There haven't been a lot of like fashion changes in the past 10 years like there were.
There
in the
hasn't been a
olden
lot of
days.
changes in everything for the past
what do you mean?
10 to
Well, because
15
they just
years.
keep mining for the old
Like
trends
everybody's
and
hair kind of looks
recycling
the
them.
same.
Oh yeah, everybody has either a low taper fade or some type of
It's like
high fade.
sorta-
I was actually talking with something like that. I was like, it would be nice to see somebody with just like an unruly Josh Hartnett, not late '90s haircut these days.
I saw someone with helmet hair the other day. That was weird.
Like you go to the so this was kind of a culture shock when we went back to Minnesota and we went to the mall. Like went back to the Mall of America and everybody had like really styled hair. I'm like, where's the people who just don't care?
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying the women, but the guys, right? Like
The
why,
guys
why,
had
like,
styled hair.
yeah. Like why are you doing that?
I mean, I appreciate people putting effort in. Lindsay Stiltner said, Libby, I think the Dorothy haircut made me a lesbo.
I concur. I'm sure that's the
that a
entire
slur?
cause of how you became a lesbo. I wrote this. It's a totally different story. But yeah, no, I could see that.
We are almost
Especially
to a
if
fourth
you had
crisis
like
party.
some corduroy pants.
Red Snow said, any thoughts on Squid Game 2? Seemed way less serious.
I didn't check it.
didn't
Like
watch it.
I think there should be a rule now that if they can't get season 2 of a show out within a year of season 1, you don't have to care.
It has to be
it's
less
your
than 2 years.
God-given right to not give a crap if they can't get it out any faster.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like imagine
Like we've moved on. Our entertainment has moved on.
It better be real good. Right? If you're going to care that much. Like, for instance, Reacher Season 3 is about to come out, and I think that's a year and a half out, but that's fine. It's not like, this isn't like a cultural touchstone these days. It's just a genre that a bunch of dads like, you know.
We have a 20 from
That's what I
Jose
love.
Quintana.
No, I'm not a dad.
Happy New Year to PCC. Congrats to Brett and Olivia. Hello, Ghost Empress Phil and Libby. By the way, as far as tween haircuts, I came of age getting my John Travolta SNF do.
Wow.
Apostrophe do. I felt so cool. Long live PCC.
Yeah.
I was, so it's one of the things, so whenever I rewatch White Collar, I think of what the character of Neil has this, like, very classically coiffed hair that just is so not, it wasn't even in style in the early 2010s, but it's definitely not in style now. But that would be kind of the point, is that his character is supposed to have like a timeless sense of fashion. And like if that show comes back, as they're supposedly making, like they're like gonna revive it, it's like if he comes back with like a low taper fade, I'm gonna be pissed.
What was this? Gryphus82 said, my family is collecting donations for my father's memorial. Any help would be metal. Love you all. Give, send, go. Eric Vanaman. Vanaman.
Rest in peace.
Sorry to hear about your
R.I.P.
dad.
High Voltage 75 said, I watched the M. Night Shyamalan movie Trap on a plane over the holidays, and I thought it was okay. Found myself laughing at how ridiculous it got about halfway through.
What I think is what has happened to Shyamalan is what would be worse. Like, he was hated in the middle part of his career because he couldn't regain the magic of the twist ending. But now his movies just kind of become, We watched what was the Cabin in the Woods, or what was the one that
Knock at the Cabin.
Knock at the Cabin, and we were just like,
It wasn't, but I liked Trap, and I agree. I was kind of laughing through it. It wasn't very scary. Gordon Shumway said, Brett, so you had long hair, glasses, and played hockey. Which Hanson brother were you called?
I was thinking that exact thing, but I couldn't remember the name of the guys.
Or the Bash brothers from Mighty Ducks.
Well, which one then?
I don't have one. That was like Goon and movies like that and Slapshot were a little bit before my time.
Tacti Plati.
Though I have seen them endlessly because when you grow up playing hockey, your parents make sure that you've seen them all.
Tacti Plati said, Time Traveler's Wife movie was based on a book. One of the first books I read on my own as an adult. Book was better. Movie has Eric Bana and Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, okay.
It's weird that I had never heard of it. Evan Perry said, I had the same problem with deodorant when I broke my elbow. It would hurt the most when my arm moved accidentally. I didn't realize that I'd also broken my wrist until they stabilized my elbow.
Yeah.
LOL.
Yeah,
Yikes.
Laughing is the hardest thing right now. Or Olivia will say something and I'll turn and go, ah!
Omega Red fan said, is a boyfriend application the same as doom scrolling?
Pretty much.
Kinda, yeah, wow.
And one more there from Red Snow.
Wait, no.
He
Praise
says,
be to Space King.
Indeed. All right.
Thank you.
Guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Please and thank you. Libby, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Where can they find you?
You can find me on X at Libby Emmons. And I'd love if you subscribe to my newsletter. I write it up every day. What is it? It's thepostmillennial.com/Libby.
Perfect. Phil, where can they find you?
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. I'm Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is All That Remains. We have a new record coming January 31st. It is called Anti-Fragile. You can go to Spotify and pre-save it. If you want to check out some of the songs on it, you can check out Forever Cold, Let You Go, No Tomorrow, or Divine on YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, and Deezer. And don't forget the left lane is for crime.
Perfect.
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Suppose after I do the outro, then I'll either manually do the fourth crisis party or then we do a post-credit scene. But guys, hit the like button on this video. Again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you would like to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would prefer to listen rather than watch the show, you can rate and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That helps out the channel greatly, so thank you so much for that. And if you want to follow the show on social media, Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok, because we were banned on TikTok, at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with a post-credit scene very, very shortly. Otherwise, we will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Later, everyone. At the very least, have to let them hear the fourth crisis party. It's so much louder without headphones on. See you tomorrow, guys.